teachers and trainers, professors and professionals, learners, those who are listening, watching from the field of science, arts, commerce and engineering, the most honorable President Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, respected ministers and doctors, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors, reverend fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters, I respect, welcome, thank for your presence from Dr. Rakesh, USA. Dear friends, as you know that what is the concept of gender, sex, sexuality, patriarchy, masculinity and feminism. In the reference of our Indian Constitution, as per the doctrines, principles, ideals of our holy nation, concept of gender is the word gender. Simply, our school students learn gender is a wide set of characteristics that are seen to distinguish male and female. It can extend from sex to social role or gender identity. As the word gender has more than one valid definition in ordinary speech, it is used interchangeably with sex to denote the condition of being male or female. It is clearly written in our holy constitution. There is no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, creed, sex and language, all that, but all are equally treated and accepted by our holy constitution. In the social sciences, where it refers specially to social constructed and institutionalized differences such as gender roles. The World Health Organization WHO, for example, uses gender to refer to the socially constructed roles, behaviors, activities and attributes that a given society considers appropriate for men and women. Some cultures have distinct gender related social roles that can be considered distinct from male and female, such as the Hijraj of India and Pakistan. Dear friends, our cultural and climatic identity all over the world is known as unity in diversity. We have so many varieties, adversities, classifications on the basis of caste, creed, language and all that. But our India is the only country which has the unity in diversity all over the world, geographically, economically, politically, socially, at all the levels. We are known by its oneness and equality. Bottom to top, root to fruit, it has the great identity to address the worldly people. When we talk about the gender, determined by social, cultural affiliation, learned behavior. Gender refers to the socially constructed roles, behavior, activities and attributes that a given society at a given time and place considers appropriate for women and men, boys and girls, and the relationships between them. It is the so-called social issue, female foeticide, which has become the greatest social evil in the different nations, not only in India. Why do we discriminate on the basis of such kind of classifications? Gender can be considered fluid in the sense that one can challenge their own gender identity in some instances, holding it completely opposite to their sex. Gender is determined by social interaction, exchange, and absorption of peer, female, and large cultural values that determine gender identity and affiliation. For example, a woman who considers herself to be a male possesses sexual desires as a male and is contemplating undergoing surgery in order to become male is an example of sex and gender being separate as well as disparate. Gender roles and identities are also culturally prescribed. These roles are commonly a crucial argument in the feminist theory aspect of sociology or philosophy. Boys play with toy soldiers while girls play Barbie dolls. The commonly held viewpoint or assumption is offensive to many feminist theorists who advocate a stripping of stereotype and gender bias. The term gender frequently appears in both academic and popular discussions of the dynamics of social experience. But whether it appears in spoken text, authors rarely say what they mean by the term. The unspoken assumption is that listeners and readers already know the meaning and therefore is unnecessary. We argue that this assumption is false. We argue that the assumption is false to support real communication. Authors need to clarify the meaning they assign to the term gender, especially in connection. It is especially important for spoken and written discourse in our field. Concepts are terms used by social scientists as analytical categories to study society and social behavior. Though the use of concepts social scientists develop categories that act as aids or aids in the scientific investigation of behavior in the society. In gender studies, there are several such concepts that provide the framework in the study of behavior. For example, the concept of gender was first developed by Lil Matthews in 1984 in her study of the construction of femininity. According to Matthews, the concept of gender gives recognition to the fact that every known society distinguishes between women and men. Therefore, the term or concept of gender is a systematic way of understanding men and women socially and patterning of relationships between them. The concept of patriarchy help in the study of male dominance in the society. The concept of gender helps to study the differences in behavior between men and women and to analyze the basis of these differences as basically biological or as social constructions by the society. The concept masculinity and femininity define certain traits as typically male, as so masculine in nature, or as typically female, and so feminine in nature. In this unit, here some basic concepts will be studied. These concepts are sex, gender, patriarchy, and masculinity and femininity. In feminist writings and in discourses on gender studies, these concepts are basic to our understanding of social differences between men and women in the society. The concept of gender in feminist writings and other sociological discourses became popular in the early 1970s. In simple terms, gender explains the differences between men and women in social terms as men and as what a man can do as woman and as what a woman can or cannot do. Therefore, gender is an analytical category that is socially constructed to differentiate the biological differences between men and women. The term gender is also used to describe the differences in behavior between men and women, which are described as masculine and feminine. Feminists on this aspect and claim that these differences are not biological but are social constructions of patriarchal society. Some theorists suggest that the biological differences between men and women also result in their mental and physical differences. They argue that biologically men are physically and mentally superior to women. Their theorists suggest that the biological differences between men and women are exaggerated. The differences are socially constructed by the patriarchal system of society by which men are described as superior to women. Therefore, women become subordinate to men in the society. Anne Oxley, in her books Sex, Gender and Society, written in 1972, explores the term gender. Oakley says that in the Western culture, women play the roles of housewife and mother. This is because women are made to play these roles because of their biology. The Western culture also believes that any effort to change the traditional roles of men and women in the society can cause damage to the social fabric of the society. This view regarding the roles of men and women helps to support and maintain the patriarchal society. Gender equality is where all human beings, both men and women, are free to develop their personal abilities and make choices without the limitations set by stereotypes, rigid gender roles, or prejudices. Gender equality means that the different behavior, aspirations, and needs of women and men are considered, valued, and favored equally. It does not mean that women and men have to become the same, but that their rights, responsibilities, and opportunities will not depend on whether they are born male or female. Gender equality. Gender equity refers to fairness of treatment for women and men according to their respective needs. This may include equal treatment or treatment that is different but considered equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, obligations, and opportunities. In the development context, a gender equality, a gender equity goal often requires built-in measures to compensate for the historical and social disadvantages of women. Hence, both gender equity and equality must be pursued in a contemporary manner, complementary manner, where gender equality is the ultimate goal. In other words, in order to achieve gender equality, it is necessary to pursue gender equity measures. Gender mainstreaming is a strategy for making the concern and experience of women as well as of men an integral part of the design, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of policies and programs in all political, economic, and societal spheres so that women and men benefit equally. The ultimate goal of male gender equality. Affirmative action refers to policies that take into account race, ethnicity, or gender, or to promote equally opportunity and redress historical disadvantages resulting from discrimination. The concept of gender in Indian context, the concept of gender as well as no came into existence during the early 1970s. It was used as an analytical category to draw a line of demarcation between biological sex differences and the way these are used to inform behaviors and complexes which are then assigned as masculine or feminine. The purpose of affirming a sex or gender or distinction was to argue about this actual physical or mental effects of biological difference, which was exaggerated to maintain a patriarchal system of power as well as to create a consciousness among the women that they were naturally better suited to domestic roles. The concept of gender varies according to different context and time period. A common core sediment of meaning that the gender concept is while engaging with how different cultures work in through and of gathered through and of gendered realities, though gender has always been a part of social realities everywhere. Its emergence as a concept and a discursive tool is a recent and modern phenomenon. Meanwhile, analyzing gender as a keyword today involves the formation of certain vocabularies surrounding cultures and society and the interpretive accretions they gained over time, but also about context that enable or disable meanings. It is often assumed that gender is a self-evident category and that its field of reference is transparent and uncomplicated. A static meaning of gender concept has aligned itself with a range of idea clusters from time to time, making it impossible to explain it by tracking its etymological roots alone. While such alignments, on the one hand, extend originally or grammatically, and on the other hand, they make for rerouting of meanings that stretch the matrix on which the gender concept is based. Thank you.